Have you ever wondered what exactly the President of India does or what powers they hold? Well, the role of the President is not just ceremonial. It is filled with numerous responsibilities and powers, some of which might surprise you. From being the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces to playing a crucial role in legislation, the President is a pivotal figure in the Indian political landscape. Stick around as we unravel the mystery and delve into the powers and functions of the President of India. The role of President in India came into existence with the adoption of the Indian Constitution in 1950. Before this, India was a British colony, governed by a viceroy appointed by the British Crown. But with the dawn of a sovereign India, it was imperative to establish a new role, one that would embody the Republic and its democratic values. Thus, the presidency was born. The president was not merely a figurehead, but a crucial component of the Indian governance system. The initial powers and functions of the president were carefully outlined in the Constitution. As the first citizen of India, the president was to safeguard and uphold the Constitution and the laws of India. They were to symbolize the unity, integrity, and solidarity of the nation, while also serving as the supreme commander of the Indian Armed Forces. The president's role has evolved since then, gaining more responsibilities and powers. But at the core, the president remains the guardian of the Indian Constitution and the representative of the Indian Republic. One of the most prominent powers of the president is the executive power. Let's delve into this concept. As the head of the country, the President of India wields significant executive powers. This isn't merely a theoretical concept, it's a practical reality that shapes the way our nation is governed. So, what are these executive powers? Well, they include a range of duties and responsibilities. Among them, the President appoints the Prime Minister of India. This is usually a formality, as the leader of the party with the majority in the Lok Sabha naturally assumes this role. However, if no party has a clear majority, the President's decision can be crucial in deciding who forms the government. The President also appoints the Council of Ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister. These individuals play key roles in governing the country, making decisions that affect every aspect of our lives. The President's role in their appointment underscores the significance of the executive powers. The President's executive powers also extend to other key positions in the Indian government. These include the appointment of the Attorney General of India, the Chief Justice of India, other judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts, the governors of states, the election commissioners, and the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. As you can see, the President's influence reaches far and wide across the various branches of the Indian government. In addition to these appointments, the President also has the power to remove individuals from these positions, further emphasizing the importance of the executive powers. Remember, every appointment, every decision, has a ripple effect that impacts the country and its citizens. The President's executive powers not only shape the structure of the government, but also influence the direction in which the country moves. So we can see that the executive powers of the President of India are not just about appointments. They are about steering the ship of the nation, guiding it through the sometimes turbulent waters of governance and policy making. These executive powers play a vital role in the functioning of the Indian government. The President also holds significant legislative and financial powers. Now let's delve into the depth of these powers and understand their significance. Firstly, the legislative powers. The President has the authority to summon and prorogue the Parliament sessions. This means that the President can call upon the Parliament to assemble for a session and also has the power to end these sessions. This is an important power as it allows the President to ensure that the Parliament meets at regular intervals and that legislative business is carried out effectively. The President also has the power to address the Parliament at the commencement of the first session after each general election and at the start of the first session each year. In these addresses, the President outlines the government's policy and the direction it intends to take, guiding the legislative work of the Parliament for the year ahead. In addition to these, the President has the power to dissolve the Lok Sabha. This power is typically exercised on the advice of the Prime Minister when the latter feels that the government can no longer function effectively or when he or she wants to seek a fresh mandate from the people. Shifting gears to financial powers, the president plays a crucial role in the financial governance of the country. All money bills can only be introduced in the parliament with the prior approval of the president. Once the parliament has passed a money bill, it is sent to the president for assent, without which the bill cannot become law. The president also ensures that the annual budget or the financial statement is laid before the parliament. This budget outlines the government's revenue and expenditure for the upcoming year, and its presentation in the parliament is a constitutional obligation that the president fulfills. In conclusion, the legislative and financial powers of the president are vast and impactful. They play a vital role in the functioning of the parliament, the passage of laws, and the financial governance of the country. The president's legislative and financial powers ensure smooth governance and financial stability. The judicial and diplomatic powers of the president further extend their influence. Let's delve into these powers to understand their importance. Firstly, on the judicial side, the president holds the power to grant pardons, reprieves, respites, or remissions of punishment. This power applies to all cases where the punishment is for an offense against any law relating to a matter to which the executive power of the Union extends. It also includes sentences of death. This power of mercy is a vital part of the checks and balances in our judicial system, providing a safeguard against judicial errors or harshness in the law. Now moving on to the diplomatic powers. The president represents India in international forums and affairs. They have the power to send and receive diplomats, which means they hold the authority to recognize other states and determine whether an ambassador from another country will be received. These powers are crucial as they shape India's relations with other countries. Moreover, the president negotiates international treaties and agreements. However, it's important to note that such treaties are subject to the approval of the parliament. This is a significant diplomatic power, as treaties can have far-reaching implications on international relations, trade, and even domestic policies. Lastly, the president is also the first citizen of the country, which means they are the chief diplomatic officer of the Union of India. In this role, the president has the responsibility to uphold the honor and integrity of the country in the global arena. In essence, the judicial powers of the president provide a final safety net within our justice system, ensuring that mercy is shown where it is needed. On the other hand, the diplomatic powers of the president play a pivotal role in defining India's standing on the international stage, shaping our relationships with other nations. The judicial and diplomatic powers of the president are crucial for maintaining justice and international relations. In times of crisis, the president's emergency powers come into play. This is a unique facet of the Indian presidency, tucked away for those unforeseen circumstances when the usual rules of governance might not suffice. Let's break it down. There are three types of emergencies where the president can exercise special powers: national, state, and financial. During a national emergency triggered by war, external aggression, or armed rebellion, the president can alter the constitutional distribution of powers between the center and the states. This means the federal structure of the country can be converted into a unitary one, albeit temporarily. In a state emergency, also known as president's rule, the president can assume the functions of a state government if the constitutional machinery in a state fails. This is designed to prevent a breakdown of law and order. The third type, a financial emergency, is when the financial stability or credit of India is threatened. Here, the president can reduce salaries of government officials, including judges, and demand financial proposals from the states. While these powers might seem overwhelming, remember they're exercised under the guidance of the Union Cabinet and must be approved by Parliament. These checks and balances ensure that these powers are not misused. These emergency powers are critical for maintaining the stability and integrity of the nation. They ensure that the ship of state can weather any storm, keeping the democratic ethos of India intact, even in times of grave crisis. In this video, we have explored the various powers and functions of the President of India. We delved into the executive powers, which include the ability to appoint key government officials and to exercise supreme command over the defense forces. We also looked at the legislative and financial powers, where the president is integral in the lawmaking process and has the authority to sanction government expenditure. Our discussion on the judicial and diplomatic powers highlighted the president's role in upholding justice and maintaining international relations. Not to forget, we discussed the emergency powers, which come into play during times of crisis, and how they can drastically change the course of the nation. These powers, combined, make the President of India an indispensable figure. As we've seen, the President of India holds a pivotal role in the functioning and stability of the Indian government and nation.